Good morning. I wanted to talk today about step 5 of the Wealth Alchemy formula. Now, if you haven't heard of the Wealth Alchemy formula yet, don't sweat it. It's a brand new formula that was just downloaded to me by my team. The purpose of the formula, by the way, is because the old paradigm of being rich and wealthy is starting to crumble. It's based on manipulation, based on taking advantage of people, based on getting rich through lying, essentially. It's done. It's crumbling. The universe is done with that. But it is allowing for a new era of wealth and abundance to become created. This new era is based on 10 steps of the Wealth Alchemy formula, which is what they told me to call it. And this is actually to teach people who have so much goodness and light and love in their hearts to share. The universe has decided that it's time to put lots of money, massive wealth, back in the hands of people who are actually here to make a positive difference on this planet. And they have sent me as one of the guides to help people do that through the Wealth Alchemy formula. And we just did our first webinar on the Wealth Alchemy formula on Wednesday, and it was phenomenal. I'm going to pop the link in the comments if you haven't seen it. It is fiery stuff. It's really powerful. It's free. Just being on the webinar is going to make you money. It's a kind of a no-brainer. All it takes is a little bit of effort for you to actually click on the link and set aside, the 90 minutes that it will take to watch the webinar. But I highly encourage that you do that because you're going to benefit from it, and through you, the world is going to benefit too. Anyway, one of the things that came up, oh, by the way, like a bunch of people made money on the actual webinar, and that's not the first time it happened, and it won't be the last time that it happens, because when people get into my vortex, they simply make money. It's what they do. It's what happens. But rule number 9 is you have to have some skin. 8. You have to have skin in the game. You have to take some calculated risk. You have to actually be able to put some money down. Anyway, we're not here for rule number 9. We're here for rule number 5. Receive pleasure. Because this is the one that I'm getting the most responses back about. I'm getting messages, I'm getting emails, people who are on the call, who watched the video after the fact, who watched the replay. And step number 5 is receiving pleasure. So I wanted to do a little bit of a talk about this because we are ingrained not to receive pleasure. We are taught as we grow up that to receive pleasure is selfish, is greedy. If you are getting pleasure, that means that someone else is not getting something that they need, and that feels way too decadent and way too abundant. The challenge here is that part of the Wealth Alchemy formula requires you to be able to receive pleasure. It's tied into surrender. Oh, actually, receive pleasure is step number 7. Oops. Step number 5 is surrender. It's tied into surrender. It's tied into step number 2, receive. These are all tied together, but pleasure specifically. And just noticing. This is my call to action for you. Notice how much pleasure you allow yourself to receive. When you are really, really happy and things are going very well in your life, does something happen to cause a rift? Do you start a fight? Do you pick a fight with your spouse, your partner? Do you go out and spend the rent? Do you get really, really drunk in celebration and spend the whole next day throwing up and having to reschedule clients and meetings and things like that? How much pleasure do you allow yourself to receive? How happy do you allow yourself to be? And this is so evident in the bedroom. How much pleasure do you allow yourself to receive at one time in the bedroom? Do you allow yourself to receive any at all? And if you do allow yourself to receive some, is it limited? No. How many? Little ears were present. So how many do you let yourself have? It's so vital that we allow ourselves to expand our pleasure centers. How much of that beautiful, luscious vacation do you let yourself enjoy, or do you somehow put yourself into a funk So you don't let yourself enjoy it. You start a really huge fight. Something happening on that vacation that creates a little bit of displeasure so that you don't have to enjoy it all the way. You can come back and say, well, it was okay. You don't have to come back and say, oh, that was the absolute most pleasure-filled vacation that I have ever taken. Yes. And another example that I use that I want to share with the rest of you is, when you go to someone's house because you've been invited there for a party, for a dinner party, for an event, for an occasion, and you see the host and the hostess running around, do you feel obligated to jump in and help them? Do you feel obligated to jump in and say, oh, let me wash the dishes. What do you need? Does it feel gracious? I mean, of course it's gracious. It's honorable, right, to offer your assistance. But what about just going to the party and enjoying the invitation? What about just letting yourself sit and be and enjoying the company and enjoying the food? When you eat something delicious, do you let yourself savor every single bite? Or do you enjoy the first few bites and start to go into guilt? Or start to go into defense, or start to distract yourself by working on something or texting or being on social media? Or do you actually let yourself just be in the pleasure of eating that food and really enjoying it? My call to action, my challenge for you for today is do something that really lights you up and stay very pleasurable, present in the actual pleasure, in the enjoying of it. Stay really, really present with the of the receiving of it, not feeling like you have to rush through it, not feeling like you have to justify it. You have to have a reason for being pleasured. Don't need no reason. You're allowed to receive pleasure simply because you're a human. So, okay, that is your challenge for today. Sending you so much love. I'm going to put the replay right here. We still have 3 spots left for $1,000 off in Millionaire Mindset Mastery. You guys, I know. These results are like wild. They're difficult to believe, but I have all of the text snapshots. We can get bank account statements if you need to. My students are getting tens of thousands of dollars dropped into their accounts simply by being in the vortex, simply by following the Wealth Alchemy system. So if that sounds good to you, if you'd like to receive tens of thousands of dollars and save $1,000 doing it, because this, by the way, guys, is going to go global. This program is going to be for everyone. You just happen to be hearing about it first because you're in my sphere now. You're getting it at a lower price because you're first to show up at the door. It's going to go up. It's not going to stick around at this price because I know how valuable it is. I know how much money I can help people make. So I'm going to pop my link if that sounds good and you just kind of want to find out a little bit about what's involved. Book a call with me. It's no pressure. I'm not trying to talk you into doing something that you don't want to do. Just let's hop on a call. Let's find out what's going on. Let me help you analyze where your blocks are and see if it would be a right fit for you. And if not, then hey, no worries. So much love to you guys. I'll talk to you soon.